Hey everyone, it's Lainey, and with Father's Day just around the corner, I want to share with you some easy, delicious desserts that your father will enjoy, especially if he has a sweet tooth just like mine. Let's get baking! Hey Simply Bakers, it's Lainey from SimplyBakings. Today I'm sharing with you a vegan pumpkin pie, which I promise you does not taste vegan. It's super duper easy. I know you guys will enjoy this recipe, so let's begin! So in a large bowl, add the sugar. I used organic cane sugar, which is vegan. Then I added the cinnamon, pumpkin pie spice, and salt. Next I added the cornstarch, which helps solidify the pumpkin spice since we're not using eggs. Then I added maple syrup. Next, add the dairy-free milk. I use vanilla soy milk, but feel free to use almond milk as long as it's vanilla flavored. And finally, the main ingredient, pumpkin puree. I used 1 can and I went ahead and added it to the bowl. And then you're going to take your handheld mixer and you're going to mix this until it is well combined. So let's get back to the recipe. This is how the pumpkin batter should look like when you're done. You're going to set this aside. So if you guys didn't buy the pre-made pie crust, you can do what I did, which was just purchase the just add water version. And I purchased the vegan pie crust. Just visit your local health food store and they should have it. So just add the cold water, and then I mixed it and eventually used my hands to finish mixing. And then I just took the dough, placed it in between the parchment paper because I found that it was easier for me to roll it out that way, and then I transferred the pie crust into the pie pan. So I did a super duper easy decoration, which was just put my thumb on the edge, and if I messed up I just pinched it a little bit like what I'm doing now, and then I continued using my thumb to make the edges of the pie crust. Next, poke the pie crust with a fork and then go ahead and add the pumpkin batter. So I just evened it out using a spatula, and then I had a little bit extra pie crust that I saved specifically to make a centerpiece for the pie. Perfect, it's done, and now what I'm going to do is pop it in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 1 hour. So allow the pie to cool completely, and I promise you guys this does not taste like it's vegan. You can taste the hint of the maple syrup that we put in, but other than that, I'm an avid pie eater or pumpkin pie eater, and I couldn't tell a difference. Had a good week, and today I will be sharing with you how to make peanut butter cups. Let's begin! In a large bowl, add the butter and the peanut butter. I use crunchy peanut butter, but if you don't want to use crunchy peanut butter, you can just use the regular one. Then you're going to pop it in the microwave for about 45 seconds, and you're going to stir it until it is smooth. Also, to stay up to date with all of my latest recipes, hit the subscribe button. Next, add the graham cracker crumbs and sugar, and you're going to mix it until it is well combined. And don't forget guys, you can get the complete recipe at my blog, SimplyBakings.com. So next, grab your silicone baking cups. So next, you're going to add some of the peanut butter into those silicone cups. If you only want a double layer, add about 2 tablespoons of it. If not, you're going to just add about 1 tablespoon and then place it in the refrigerator for about 20 minutes. Then in a microwavable safe bowl, you're going to add the chocolate chips and the milk, and you're going to melt it in 15-second intervals until you get this consistency of chocolate. So after about 15 minutes, the peanut butter hardened and I was able to add the second layer of chocolate. Once you're done adding it, you're going to place it back in the refrigerator for about 10 minutes and then remove it and add the rest of the peanut butter. If you don't want to have 3 layers, you can just add all of the chocolate, but I felt like having 3 layers, and the peanut butter will be sitting outside, so you need to melt it again for about 15-20 seconds and then add it back in, or it will look bumpy like what happened to mine. So once the peanut butter cups are finished, you can take it out and you can eat it immediately. And I just want to show you how easy it was to remove the peanut butter cups from the silicone baking cups. Check it out. It is really easy to remove. That's what I love about these silicone baking cups. In fact, I didn't even use any oil. This is actually a non-stick baking silicone cup. Also, this is super easy to wash. I just use my fingers to wipe out the chocolate from the crevices. Sharing with you a keto cookies using coconut flour. The flavor is chocolate chips. These are really delicious. I know you guys will love them, and it's foolproof. Let's begin. So these are the ingredients you will need for this recipe. In a small bowl, you're going to mix the coconut flour and some baking soda and salt. Salt is optional. And you're just going to take a whisk and you're going to mix it until it is well combined. Once you're done, take this bowl and set it aside. In another bowl, you're going to add all the wet ingredients, which is the butter. This is unsalted butter. I softened in the microwave. And then the coconut sugar. And you're going to take your whisk, or not the whisk, your handheld mixer, and you're going to mix until it is light and fluffy. So next you're just going to push the batter towards the center, and then you're going to take your eggs and vanilla extract, add it to the bowl, and continue mixing. If you don't have a handheld mixer, that's alright. You can just use a wooden spoon and just make sure you really mix everything very well. So once everything is combined, just know that the batter might be a little bit darker than what you expect when you create or make cookie dough. Anyway, so you're going to add the dry ingredients and continue mixing. Also, something to note, the cookie batter will be a lot more wet. It's not like your typical cookie dough, okay? Just keep that in mind. Next, then you're going to add the vegan chocolate chips. I use mini vegan chocolate chips. These are by far the best ones I've tasted. I love this brand. Finally, you're going to place the cookie dough onto a cookie sheet lined with parchment paper or a baking mat. And then I use my ever faithful cookie scooper. This has served me very well, and it is still serving me very well. Now make sure to flatten the cookie. You can use the tips of your finger like I was doing, or you can use the palm of your hand. And if you don't do this, the cookies will stay round. Next, you're going to bake it at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 10 to 12 minutes. And then allow it to sit for about 2 more minutes on the cookie sheet, and then transfer it over to a cookie rack. So this recipe was my first time to actually bake with coconut flour. And if you guys want to see more keto recipes or keto desserts, let me know in the comments. And these tasted amazing. My friends were like, is this store-bought? But it wasn't, homemade. And these were chewy and a little bit cakey, but I loved it. And this will not be my last time baking with coconut flour. Give it a try, guys. And if you do, tag me at SimplyBakings. Sharing with you how to make banana bread cookies. So delicious. Let's begin. In a large bowl, add the softened butter, granulated sugar, vanilla extract, and you're going to grab your whisk and you're going to mix it until it is light and fluffy. If you have a handheld mixer, you can go ahead and use that as well. Then add the eggs and you're going to mix very well. Then add the 1 cup of mashed bananas. You guys gotta make sure to mash those bananas because you don't want any large clumps of bananas in the batter. So once all the wet ingredients are mixed very well, you're going to set this bowl aside, and in a medium-sized bowl, you're going to combine the flour, baking powder, baking soda, salt, cinnamon, and mix until combined. Slowly add the dry ingredients into the wet ingredients and mix very well. I know it doesn't look like cookie batter, but this is how it's exactly supposed to look like. And you're just going to pop it in the refrigerator for at least 30 minutes. The longer the better. So after about 30 minutes, I removed the cookie dough from the refrigerator and make sure to line the baking sheet with parchment paper or baking mat. And then using a cookie scoop, I placed the dough on the mat and baked it at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 minutes. Just keep an eye on it. It might take you only 8 minutes, but for me it took 10 minutes. So my house smelled so good. I love the smell of banana bread baking in the oven, so of course this smelled just as good. And it also tasted amazing. It was exactly like I was biting into banana bread, but better. These cookies were very light and fluffy, and if you guys love banana bread, you're going to love these cookies. I actually think you can eat them for breakfast as well. Just cut down the sugar a bit more, but these are so good. I don't know, banana bread just makes me so happy. I guess my grandma used to make it all the time, so the smell is very nostalgic. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I need help choose. Hey guys, it's Lainey. Today I'm sharing with you a 3-ingredient macaroon cookies. Delicious and easy, great if you don't have enough time but want to take something for a Thanksgiving dinner or lunch. Let's begin! So in a large bowl, you're going to add 1 bag of unsweetened coconut flakes, half a can of sweetened condensed milk, 2 eggs, and then using a spatula or a spoon, you're going to mix until everything is well combined. You also really want to mix very well just because you don't want to taste any eggs in the final cookie, right? So once you're done mixing, you're going to scoop the macaroons onto a cookie sheet lined with either parchment paper or cookie mat or baking mat, and you want to make sure to kind of flatten it and spread it out. You can make it as big or as small as you want, and then you're going to pop it in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 15 to 17 minutes. You're going to wait until it's golden brown on top, just like this, and then let it cool, and that's pretty much it. So easy, just using 3 ingredients, and there you have it. Coconut macaroons. Thanks again so much for watching. I finally made macaroons. Thank you so much for requesting to make macaroons. These were really fun to make, and I really hope you guys enjoy it. Let's begin. The ingredients you will need is powdered sugar, almond flour, egg whites, sugar, and some food coloring. So in a stand mixer, you're going to add your egg whites, and you're going to beat it for about 30 seconds. Then I added the granulated sugar. Now you don't have to turn off your stand mixer, you can just add it right in while it is mixing. So after mixing for about 3 to 4 minutes, there should be stiff white peaks. That is what you're looking for. So set the egg whites aside and sift together the almond flour and the powdered sugar. And don't forget guys, you can find the complete recipe at my blog SimplyBakings.com. So once that's finished, we're going to slowly add the dry mixture into the egg whites. So I did it 3 times, so I added about probably 5 scoops, and then I took my spatula and I folded in the flour mixture. So now would be the time to add the food coloring. I used gel and I added about 2 drops. If you're going to be adding a lot of food gel, add it towards the beginning of when you add in the almond and powdered sugar, just because you're going to need to really mix it in. But since I didn't use that much, I was able to add it towards the end. So total of folding in everything was about 32 to 33 times. I find that for me, 33 times was enough to get the correct consistency for macaroons. So I added the macaroon batter into a piping bag and I piped it onto my mat. This mat was pretty easy to use. All you had to do was pipe in the inner circle. And for those of you who made it this far, I will be giving away 1 macaroon mat, so check in the description box on how you could win 1. Once you're done piping, tap the tray about 5 or 6 times to get out all the air bubbles. Let it sit for 30 minutes. Bake the macaroons at 300 degrees Fahrenheit. If you're using a Silpat mat or a mat like this, it's going to take about 23 to 25 minutes to bake. Once it's done baking, allow it to cool for about 10 to 15 minutes. And the macaroons should easily pull off the mat just like that. For the filling, I just used my chocolate buttercream. I will link that in the description box. And this was my favorite part, piping the buttercream onto the macaroons and placing the second macaroon on top of the other macaroon. Macaroons are a bit of a challenge, but they do take a lot of practice. It took me, I think, 6 times to get it like this, and I still think I can make it better. Happy baking! And there you go, everyone. Happy Father's Day. I really hope you enjoyed these sweet treats that I shared with you guys, and let me know in the comments what you will be making for your Father's Day. And don't forget to like and comment, because it does help my channel, and I really appreciate each one of you guys. And have a great day. Bye!